I want to call this out before I forget about it, but I just realized that you can actually see how tiny a Star Destroyer is in like the focusing lens.
Star Wars Catalyst, a Rogue One story novel. This is the prequel novel to Rogue One. I think the cover is awesome. I like the bright green little, it's real subtle there in the middle. The cover, though, like on the actual book, I believe it's actually kind of shiny. Like the Death Star, the gray parts are actually reflective. But one of my favorite characters in here that I would love to see more of is Has Obit.
Wait.
I mentioned that
Oh
before.
yeah, Has Obit.
We mentioned that before. I think the last time, Chris, when you were on the channel. Yeah,
we did.
Like
Oh,
type of guy, right?
He was a space kind of guy.
Yeah, and I want more Has Obit. But yeah, I love this cover. I think it's really cool. The Catalyst is about the building of the Death Star, so I don't think you could have gone with a better cover for Star Wars Catalyst.
Yeah, it tells you exactly what the story is about, which is what you want your cover is about. Like, yes, like there is no main character per se, other than the Death Star. I mean, obviously, Galen Erso and Orson Krennic are huge proponents of this story, as they are in the movie, as they are in the book here. But I didn't pick up on the bright green Catalyst. Like, I have the hardcover version. I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a neon green on there.
Yeah, interesting. But I think the font works really well too for the book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Can I be the disagreeing opinion right now?
Well, hold on. Let's get to Noah. He's holding something up. I want to show him.
Yeah, what was he?
As a comparison.
Okay. Yeah.
The Legends equivalent.
Oh.
Death Star.
By Michael Reeves.
That's the second Death Star, correct?
No, that's the first.
That's the first one, because that's about the construction of it.
Oh, wait. What? I don't even know where I have that thing on I might have that in the wrong place then.
Yeah.
Well, you have it in chronological order.
I thought I put them all together on like a Legends banner book for the expanded universe, and that's
so do I over here.
That's the way to do it: is to get a Legends banner book and then put them in order with that timeline. But I guess there are some things that were wrong in that printing. But
well, think of it this way, Matthew. It's not necessarily wrong. Timeline kind of comes down to personal preference. For instance, when you're in, and it happens the same way in the new canon, because I have this thing, because technically this novel happens before Revenge of the Sith, after Revenge of the Sith, and then further into the timeline with all of like I think Thrawn happens during this time. Well, Thrawn definitely happens during this time. A New Dawn happens, Lords of the Sith happens, Ahsoka happens, but I've still put this first after Revenge of the Sith because I think it's a great great step out of a fantastic movie into a fantastic novel. And also, the Death Star is like a big deal in both canons. Like, I mean, it's a super weapon that can destroy a planet,
right?
But I know some people that will put this before reading Rogue One, and I don't agree with that. That's up to personal preference.
Yeah, I made sure I definitely had to read it before the movie came out.
Oh yeah, it helps so much. Like that first viewing, like knowing so much more about Galen Erso and the relationship with his wife, and then how Orson Krennic was related as much more of a friend, which you don't get too much in the movie. So definitely enhanced it.
Yeah, see, I would definitely like to reread this one, and follow it up immediately with the novelization of Rogue One, because I thought the novelization of Rogue One was better than the film. Of course, we don't get all the sweet visuals, but I thought that the story was written out better in book form.
I want to call this out before I forget about it, but I just realized that you can actually see how tiny a Star Destroyer is in like the focusing lens of the Death Star. And that to me is so cool, seeing the scale of how large the Death Star is.
Yeah,
the thing is tiny.
Yeah.
So, no disrespect to the story or to the book, but I think I liked Noah's Legends equivalent better.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I just, I don't know. It looked like more work went into that, and I guess I appreciate that. Where with Catalyst, it's just a picture of a Death Star.
I was going to second that. Although I will say I like the size of James Luceno's name on it, because James Luceno is a big name in Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not Timothy Zahn.
No, he's better.
I would agree with that too. I just think his details better in a lot of things. He's second to none. Actually, that's not true. We got Matthew Stover too. The two of them just know their Star Wars.
Yeah, that's good.
But I would agree with the cover. Like it's fine. It's pretty simple. It tells you exactly what this book is about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's nice. Like I see this in a bookshop or something, and I'm like, you know what, a novel about the Death Star. Yeah, sure, I pick it up. But not really like a fantastic artwork or anything.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I do like what Chris said. Look how tiny those Star Destroyers are. And you got one right there, and you got another little one right there.
Yeah, and like an X-wing is like not even.
Yeah, just microscopic compared to that. If it was
just.
What, you don't see all those little X-wings right there?
No,
I'm just kidding.
If it was a raw file, we could expand it out and find it.
It'd be fun. I need to Photoshop that in. But I do like the rugged looking text, like font. It's all scratched up. You get the little like the one, the N right there. You see the little foot right there. It's not up there. It just kind of looks worn. You know what I mean?
Ah, yeah. Good point.
So yeah, I enjoyed that book. I liked it.
Definitely up there in my top 10 canon books, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're about to talk about this character on the Legends podcast.
On your Legends podcast. So yeah. Obviously, guys, spoiler alert, I'm sure you've already heard, Ahsoka shows up in The Mandalorian, the Disney Plus show, which made a lot of people happy, and it also apparently enraged a lot of people. What's new in Star Wars, right? Everybody's mad about something. But we're going to talk about the cover of this book. And I guess I could start on this one. I think the cover's fine. I think that Ahsoka's gone through so many different art style changes, right? But like, who cares? It's just, we've got Rebels. It's just a different design of the show. Clone Wars, different style of artwork, whatever. We have the live action stuff, and here we have a book cover version of Ahsoka, which I think she looks intimidating on the cover there. The background looks pretty cool. It looks insane, like a lot of battles going on. It looks like a fine book cover. I don't really like the font so much of her name. I don't think that's very Star Warsy.
Yeah, it looks like. Sorry to butt in.
Good.
Before I lose this thought, it looks like one of the basic fonts on Microsoft Word.
Like this is a sci-fi looking font. But that's the only real negative that I have with this cover. I mean, it looks like an A-wing in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely an A-wing,
which is pretty awesome.
Which show up at the end of the book. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've read this book. The only thing that I do know about it is the little contradiction that's happened from the Clone Wars and this, with the way that she loses her lightsabers. I think we've talked about this before. But anyway, that's other topics inside the book.
I could spend a while talking about that.
But the cover. Who wants to take it away? Who has to judge this cover?
Well, I'll jump off on this one. Just a real quick aside. I haven't seen this cover up close like this in a while, but having watched The Mandalorian that came out last week, this looks almost exactly like her from that. This looks like the closest thing to that, because her montrails, her leku, as if you would call them, are actually like around the same length that they were in the show, which is something I had a problem with, because I'm like, they're not long enough, because if you look at her at Rebels, they're twice as long. Whereas these look like they're actually...
Yeah, you're right. Good point.
These look like they're actually at the right proper length. But that aside, I think it's a pretty good cover, because you see up in front, Ahsoka, she's got the strong stance. she's got her 2 white lightsabers. So immediately, if you had no idea what the book is about, you're gonna think to yourself, okay, how did she get those white lightsabers? Like, it's a really tempting kind of cover to make the reader guess, like, okay, she had blue and green lightsabers. How the heck did this happen? So that's in the story. It's always good having ships in the background, some kind of blasters, going off. So it definitely has that action vibe to it. And yeah, I mean, you pointed out the font, so now that that's visible, I'm like, yeah, they could have done a better job on that. But I think I definitely would pick this up if I've seen it, and I'm a fan of Ahsoka or Rebels or Clone Wars for sure.
Yeah. Noah, what are your thoughts on this cover?
I think overall it's fine. And like until you mentioned it, I never realized these are battles and ships in the background. Like that's what it's supposed to be. I didn't notice this before.
Yeah.
So I think the background is good. That's fine. Ahsoka itself, yes, but I have one problem, and that's more subjective, personal. I don't really like her face looking this realistic. And that's the same problem I have with her actress I saw in the Mandalorian show. Because, I don't know, it just, to me, it doesn't translate well to live action. And this looks pretty much identical to her.
Yeah, I could see it could be a little jarring. Yeah, I mean, it's a character that's made for animation first, so
yeah. And
there's always going to be a little bit of a divide if it's not a human character, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm a kid and I pick this up, I would be like, I know Ahsoka from TCW and Rebels, and then this one is, this face isn't quite right compared to these two shows.
Yeah. I can see that. Adam, what do you think?
I'm kind of on the same view as Noah. It looks fine. I mean, I do agree with you also. Like, she looks more intimidating in this book than she ever did in the Clone Wars show. And but I mean, I'm not sure if I would pick it up to read it. Like, if I would go out of my way to pick it up and read it. I mean, not necessarily because of the font or anything. It's just, Ahsoka's not like 100% my favorite character.
Right.
But I mean, but the cover itself is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's common knowledge, my opinion on the character of Ahsoka. I am putting that aside here.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not a huge fan of Ahsoka
as
a character, except for in Rebels. I liked her in Rebels. I love this cover. This is my favorite. To be different from Noah, this is my favorite look for Ahsoka. It to me it blends, because I didn't even think of, because I've not seen this season of Mandalorian. I think it's the perfect transition between her from season 5 of Clone Wars to season 2 of Rebels. Because at the time when I saw this on the shelves, and I think I picked it up at the time and read it, that was there was no season 7 Clone Wars that was even being talked about. I'm like, okay, we're going to get that in here. Like, that's what I thought just by looking at the cover. Didn't even notice the A-Wing. I knew there was a battle going on. I'm thinking like, oh, this is lost episodes of Clone Wars we're going to read.
I do agree with you, Jeremy. I liked her better in Rebels.
Yeah, she made a great, like, sort of Obi-Wan type character in that.
I honestly thought, like, I've always been against the character. I thought it took away from the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi. But over the years, after watching the whole Clone Wars series and Rebels and Mandalorian, I'm not saying I like the character really, but like, she's grown on me.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the part in The Mandalorian, honestly. I thought it was interesting. I don't like the fact that there are Jedi out and about whenever it's clearly there's only supposed to be just the one. Last of the Jedi will you be? But, ignorance, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this
It's the same
cover,
thing in the EU though.
yeah, it
Uh,
keeps adding people. But this cover, there's a little piece of it that kind of reminds me of Battlefront Twilight Company.
Oh yeah.
It's like the battle, the action stuff going on in the background. It's
Hmm.
same type of coloring.
Yeah, I know what you
Pretty
mean.
cool. It's like a painting. And I really like it. A pretty cool
That-
cover. I think it.
And I'm pulling the whole cover off because this thing is so good. We mentioned a little Twilight Company.
Oh yeah,
Let me go blow you up there.
Alexander Freed.
Hang on.
Oh, jeez.
There you go.
But the whole thing wraps around here.
Yeah.
You know, I never really
I'm
noticed
not
that.
using this segment, so we're getting a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'm gonna
like how they have
down
the
now.
defense cannon. They have the ion cannon on the left side there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Very good artwork.
I can't do this with my mic. I apologize, everyone.
Hey, who's the jacket cover by? Does it have the artist written there on the back sleeve?
Let's take a look. See.
Very interesting.
Jacket illustration by Aaron McBride,
Oh, okay.
and the design was by Scott Beal.
Okay. I was just thinking because of the similarities between the Ahsoka. This is by Wojtek Fuss. I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah, man, I really like the cover of Twilight Company.
There's a lot going on. It's very
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah, and it's to me, it almost looks like a video game type cover.
Well, because it's promoting a video game.
Right, which was a bummer because they didn't have a campaign, which I thought the story in Battlefront Twilight Company would have been an excellent campaign
Yeah, really.
for a video game. And I thought they were going to do a series off of the, like Battlefront 2, which we got a Battlefront 2, but it was a different like time period and
Yeah, it had.
it didn't have like the same, like I thought we were going to go with a Rebel squad, Imperial squad, Rebels. We just keep going back and forth for a while until they would maybe eventually meet up and have like a big grand finale book where you're like, oh, I don't know which side I'm going to be rooting for here. I thought that would have been cool. But we're talking about covers. Yeah, I think that art is fantastic. It teases Star Wars. It screams Star Wars. All the laser blasters, the fighters. To get that big alien. I can't remember what they are. Basilisk, right?
Basilisk, yeah. The
Yeah.
forearm guys,
Yeah.
like
He
Jexter,
looks-
Jester, yep.
He looks awesome. So yeah, I definitely would be picking that book up if I didn't already have it.
Yeah, I love it because it just says like this is what it is. This is a Battlefront. Like that's the big thing of it. In fact, this was the second canon book I read.
Hmm.
I had,
Yeah, it
like,
came out very early on in 2015.
Yeah, because I read Lords of the Sith. Because none of them appealed up until Lords of the Sith.
Yeah, Paulus Kemp was great.
Yeah, and then like I may, you know what? When did Aftermath come out?
Oh,
That came out in 20. That was like 2015 too.
Okay, I listened to Aftermath. I didn't read Aftermath, but I listened to it and was not a fan of Aftermath. And then I picked this one up, and I'm like, okay, I dig this. This is really, really good. This cover, it fits the story. That's where I'll put that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I agree with you, Matthew. I like the video game vibe that you get from it because like it looks like Star Wars meets like Call of Duty or something like that. And
Yeah, good point.
but yeah, I do agree. Like when you look at that cover, like this is like it like screams Star Wars. Just like there's like A-wings, X-wings, blasters everywhere. Like, I mean, it's an epic cover, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like you're in the trenches, and it's a scene that people realize what it is if you look closely enough. Like, okay, there's snow, there's AT-ATs, there's snow speeders. This has got to be Battle of Hoth, but it's characters we haven't seen in a Battle of Hoth from a different perspective. So that can make it very interesting as well. Just seeing just a different point of view from the same battle we've seen over and over and over again.
Yeah, like a comment from Josh says, Star Wars stories from the grunt perspective.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And Scott mentioned that it's like it reminds him of the Bantam days, the wraparound covers.
Yeah.